What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Burgundy Boss podcast. It is I, the Burgundy Boss, here with my special guest today. I have Harry. Harry, how is it going?
It's going good, man. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, no problem. So in today's podcast, we're going to talk about the playoffs, the upcoming playoffs that we have this weekend, the divisional round. Our teams are no longer on byes, our number one seeds, and we get back. Everybody's on the playing field, and it's win or go home for everybody now. So with that being said, we're going to hop into our first game. Saturday at 3:30, we've got Cincinnati and Tennessee. Tell me, Harry, give me an offensive player for Cincinnati that nobody knows about that they should watch out for, and a defensive player for Tennessee that is scary.
Ooh. Cincinnati, the offensive side of the ball, it's stacked. It's a good side. Obviously, you've got the obvious ones, Burrow, Jamar. But for someone who is more underrated, not necessarily underrated, but Higbee, I know a lot of people know about him already. However, with the addition of Jamar Chase, I do feel like he gets underlooked. Before Jamar came along, he was their main man, and now Jamar's here. Jamar is great and all, but without Higbee, they're not the same side, and in my opinion.
Right, yeah, definitely. And, I'll go ahead and the guy to watch out for the defensive side for Cincinnati, and he doesn't get a lot of love in my opinion, but it's Sam Hubbard, he's a young guy. He's, in his second year out of the Ohio State University. He's an excellent pass rusher. Of course, they went out and they paid Trey Hendrickson, who came from the Saints, and he's having a heck of a year. But an underrated guy that he doesn't get a lot of attention.
Oh, definitely. They really are a great young team with many pieces, the Bengals, and they have a bright future. I mean, this could be if they can beat this team and they can carry on going forward, get some momentum. This really could be their year. They're not my pick, but they have a solid shout this year. They've got quite lucky with injuries. They haven't had many injuries this year. They're a very young team with a lot of heart. I really see them doing well.
Definitely. They're definitely a hot young team. So for Tennessee, who's your defensive stud for Tennessee that nobody knows about?
Man, this is a hard one,
It is.
It is. No one knows about. I'm not super sure on that one. I'm sorry about that. But
that's all right.
I'm not really sure on super. I mean, I said Higbee before. I mean, people know about him. So, but I do love Tennessee. I'm actually picking Tennessee to win this game. And I think they just have a bit more. They just have a bit more firepower, a bit more experience. I know they've lost to some shady teams. Sorry.
I'm definitely interested to see what Tennessee does in this game. Getting Derrick Henry back, I seen yesterday he was just cleared for contact, so he's going to be practicing the rest of the week, and he's going to be a full go come Saturday for the game. I'm interested to see, are they that same team we saw in September and October, and Derrick Henry was running everybody over, or is it going to take a little while for Tennessee to kind of get back in that groove that they were in, being the hottest team in football? So as far as sleepers, I'll give one. So offensively for Tennessee, my sleeper is he's not really a sleeper actually. It's AJ Brown, but I'm calling him my sleeper because I think AJ Brown is going to plumb go off in this game because Cincinnati has one of the lower end passing defenses in the NFL. They currently have the 26th ranked pass defense and the 5th ranked run defense. So it's going to be interesting to see that matchup, that top 5 run defense versus that top 5 run offense that Tennessee has, and they just collide, and it's going to be may the best man win.
Yeah, man. I think you make a great point. AJ Brown's he's a hell of a player. He really is. I've got him on the verge of top 10 wide receiver. Not quite top 10 in my opinion, but he's definitely up there. He's had some injuries, but he's a very good wide receiver. One of the best in his draft class, and he will definitely cause problems. They have Julio Jones as well, and
Yes.
obviously Derrick Henry coming back. The Titans are going to be a real threat towards the Bengals, and I'm really looking forward to this matchup.
Yeah, and we didn't give a stud for the Titans on defense, but the one guy that nobody knows about to watch out for the Titans on defense, he's a rookie, and he doesn't get a lot of attention at all. His name is Tier Tart. He's the nose tackle in their 3-4 defense, and he's playing just as good right now as their former first-round pick, Jeffrey Simmons, is. And he's really good at getting passer. He's the key to the stopping the run for them. And so that's the guy to watch out for Tennessee.
I'm going to be honest. I should have thought about this question a bit more, but I knew now you mentioned him, he comes to mind. But at the time, my mind just went blank.
Yeah, that's all right. All right, so let's get your prediction. What are you predicting as far as score and game wise for Cincinnati, Tennessee?
Yeah, so I've got Tennessee to take in this one. I actually think Cincinnati are the favorites from what I've seen, but I just think, the Cincinnati, they're a young team. That was their first playoff win in like 30 years when they beat the Raiders.
Since 1990.
Exactly. I like to pick the teams that have a bit more experience in these big moments. I know the Titans haven't been there loads, but I think they've just got a bit more of that. Julio Jones, he's been to the Super Bowl. They've got those players that they've just got a bit about them for me, bit more experience. In these playoffs where it's one and done scenario, experience matters a lot. The one thing I will say about the Bengals is Joe Burrow. He's much more talented than Ryan Tannehill, and he can turn it on if he wants to. And if he really gets going, it could cause some big problems for Tennessee.
Yeah, definitely. So let me get a score from you. What do you think the score is going to be?
A score, I think it's going to be a tight one. I'm going to say 24-20 Tennessee.
Okay, that's a good score. I like that. I'm actually going to go the other way with my prediction though. I think Cincinnati. I don't think Tennessee is the team that's going to be able to stop Cincinnati and this vaunted passing attack that they have. They say the best playoff teams are the teams that come in playing the hottest. And I'm not sure there's a team that's playing hotter right now than Cincinnati is. They beat Kansas City week 17, and then they kind of rested their starters against the Ravens in week 18. And I think they showed last week that they're no joke, that they're going to stick around. So I'm going to take Cincinnati to win this one. And I'm going to say Cincinnati wins 34-24.
Okay, cool. I like that.
The next game we're going to talk about is the 49ers against the Packers. I'm excited to talk about this game. Yeah. This is the game that the Packers lost to go to the NFC Championship last year.
I like this game. It's happened a few times.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the Aaron Rodgers revenge game.
It is.
Yeah. So, you want to give me an offensive player from the 49ers and a defensive player for the Packers?
Okay, so an offensive player of the 49ers. I hate to go obvious, but you've got to go with Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
He's not what you'd call a typical great wide receiver one, but
Right.
because he can run, he can do so much. He's like a Swiss Army knife type of player. He's what us in Washington wished Curtis Samuel could be.
Yeah.
And he's just incredible, and he moves the chain so well. He's that star guy. He really is. I hate to state the obvious, but he's the guy.
Yeah.
And what was defensive player for
the Packers? Yeah.
Defensive player for the Packers?
Yeah.
Okay. He hasn't been around too much, but he's been around the Packers for a while. But this season, I'm pretty sure Zadarius Smith is coming back for this game.
I think he is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that could actually make quite a big impact. He might not play loads. It might only be like 20 snaps or so. But I do feel like he could really make a big impact on the Packers side. And he could really improve and really make a difference in this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's an impact player. And, a couple years ago, we all know about the Smith brothers, and they gave him that nickname for a reason. So they're the Smith brothers. All right, so a defensive player for the Niners to watch out for. And this guy, a lot of people probably won't even know this guy, but it's DJ Jones. And
Yep.
Their defense is nasty right now. They have the 6th ranked pass defense and the 7th ranked run defense. And that's all they're doing is they're stopping people from moving the ball, and they're controlling the clock. And that's all there is to it right now for them. Yeah. DJ Jones is really the key to that run defense, because he's that interior run stuffer that they have in the middle of their defensive line right now. An offensive player for the Packers. I'm not going to go the obvious answer for that. There's a couple obvious answers, but I'm actually not going to go that route. I'm actually going to go with A.J. Dillon, because if there's anybody that can terrorize this 49ers defense, it's going to be A.J. Dillon running them over and over and over again with those giant quads that he carries around. It's just, that man is a massive man, a 245-pound running back. The closest guy I can think he compares to is Derrick Henry. He's that type of back that he will run right past you, or he will run right through you. It doesn't matter. And he's actually not even the starting running back for the Packers.
No.
He's the backup. So that's kind of crazy. All right, so we've got the players out of the way. So what's your prediction for this game?
I've got the Packers winning this one. I know the 49ers have had the better of the Packers over the last few years. But I've got the Packers taking it. Aaron Rodgers, he's going to do his thing. He's finally going to get his revenge on the 49ers, in my opinion. And I don't think it will be that close. I think the Packers win, maybe a 2-score game. I'm going to say 28-14 Packers. That's going to be my prediction. Yeah.
Okay. That's a solid prediction. I like it, because I'm actually going to agree with you on that. I think the Packers win this one too. Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers, he's had a week off. He's been able to rest that toe. He's kind of got to watch some extra film on them. There's a couple of guys that are really going to need to step up for them, but I think they're going to do it. Like defensively, they've got some underrated players. And I think the Packers win this one, and I think it's not going to be crazy scoring, but it's not going to be low scoring either. I think the Packers win this one 28-17, and Aaron Rodgers he puts his foot down and says, I'm not putting up with this shit no more. Yep.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, greatest quarterback ever. Bit of a hot take there, I don't know, but I really think he's going to get this done here. And Packers, they're going far this season. They're going far.
You mean to tell me you don't give it to Brady and his rings?
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah. Okay, so on to the next game. That's it for the Saturday games, and so we move on to Sunday. Our first game is 2:00 here Central Time on on Sunday, and it's the Rams and the Bucks. So I'll go ahead and you can have I'll give you the Bucks offense and the Rams defense. Give me two players.
Ooh, Bucks offense absolutely stacked. I'm gonna go with Rob Gronkowski no one's really a secret on the Bucks offense.
Right.
And the connection between Gronk and Brady over the years has been impeccable. Absolutely amazing. He's his main man. If ever it's in doubt, throw it to Gronk, they're amazing. Okay.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Rams defense. Someone who's underrated. Again, it's a hard one because both teams are absolutely amazing. But you know who I'm gonna go with? Can you tell me your picks for a minute, just so I can have a little think about that one?
Yeah. Think about that one for a minute. So for the Bucks defense, and a guy who's kind of been forgotten, and actually he is a player, but he's not a player in this game. But for the Bucks defense, I'm going to say Richard Sherman. And I know he's not playing in this game, but he's coaching the secondary. And I think he's going to be a pivotal role in stopping that vaunted Rams passing attack, because he's going to be able to sit on the sidelines and see what's going on and tell these Bucks DBs exactly what they need to do from his experience in the Legion of Boom and from, the Super Bowl trip he took with San Francisco. I think he's going to be potential or very important for them in this game.
That's a very interesting pick.
Yeah. He is a player, but he's not a player. He's not somebody you would think about, though.
But you're right. Back in the day, in his prime, he was unstoppable. He was amazing.
Yeah. He got smacked by Trent Williams.
Yeah. He did.
Yeah.
All right. Who I've quickly thought of? Shouldn't be underrated, but has kind of become underrated pretty much just because of how amazing that Rams defense is. Von Miller.
Yeah.
Now, you might think Von Miller, no one underrates him, but with the other players that the Rams have on that side of the ball, such as Aaron Donald, everyone knows he's the greatest player in the league, at least on the defensive side of the ball. Jalen Ramsey, etc. Von Miller, especially being a little bit older now, gets a little bit, undervalued, but he's still amazing, still rushes the passer really well, was amazing in that Cardinals game. And he is really a vital part to this pass rushing unit, and he will really get to Brady.
I agree. He's definitely one that everybody needs to be well aware of. And for our last player, on the Rams offense, there's a lot. They have a lot of pieces there. There's a lot of guys that everybody knows about. But for me, the guy who has recently become known again, but was well forgotten on this Rams offense, is Cam Akers. I mean, tearing his Achilles in July, and then 5 months later coming back and playing in a playoff game, and then rushing over 100 yards from scrimmage, like that's immaculate. Like that's amazing. Like unheard of. Yeah, it's crazy. So Cam Akers, he's my guy for the Rams. How do you see this game going though? Like what's your prediction for this one?
It's going to be a tight one, but I do have the Buccaneers taking it. It's that thing again. I like the experienced teams. The Buccaneers have just gone to the Super Bowl. They have Brady, who's been to countless Super Bowls. Rob Gronkowski as well. Even Bruce Arians, the coach, has been to multiple Super Bowls. And they're both stacked teams, but I just think the Buccaneers have a slight bit more firepower, edge, and with the experience, I just have to give it to Tampa, personally. Score-wise, it's hard. I'm going to go 31 to 20, actually. I think it'll be, I know, it's just, I think it will tight most of the game, but I think Tampa Bay will slightly push out. I know it doesn't sound like a super tight score, but yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like that, actually. But for this one, I'm going to go the opposite direction.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to say the Rams pull this one out. And, I think the Rams run offense and the Bucs run defense are kind of evenly matched. They're both pretty good. But I think where they're going to struggle is the passing game. And unless they can get heavy pressure, which they might be able to get pressure, but they're missing a lot of pieces. They're missing a couple linebackers, a couple defensive linemen. They're missing some pieces on that Bucs defense. So I think it's going to be hard for them to get pressure on Matt Stafford. And I think Cooper Kupp and OBJ are just going to pick them apart. And it's going to be just like that Cardinals game was. Not just like it, but similar to the Cardinals game, where they're just going to get out to a lead. And Brady not having a lot of his weapons. He's got Mike Evans and Gronk, but he's missing like Godwin and other pieces on that offense. He's missing Fournette. So I think they're going to struggle. It's going to be hard for them to run the ball. They're going to have to force the pass. So I'm going to predict that the Rams win this one, and I'm going to say it's closer than most people think, but I'm going to say 38-31 Rams.
Okay. Very high-scoring game.
Yeah. I think, Tom kind of in the playoffs, he kind of turns into Psycho Tom, and he does his thing and goes kind of crazy. But I think in this one, it's not going to be enough.
All right, cool.
And the last and final game we have for the week is Bills-Chiefs at Arrowhead, Sunday night at 5:30.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a Bills player for offense and then a Chiefs defense.
Ooh. Bills player for offense. Can I go over Chiefs player for offense because I have someone in mind.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. McKinnon, the running back.
Oh yes, Jerick McKinnon.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. McKinnon just shines, man. In the receiving game, as well as the running game. He's very undervalued by a lot of people. And I think he will be a key to unlocking this Bills defense. Obviously, you've got the obvious guys like Hill and Kelsey, but after that, I think McKinnon is right there and really helps with those underneath routes. And yeah, there you go. I just wanted to point on that player.
Okay. And who's your give me a player for the Bills offense? I'll do defense.
All right, okay. The Bills offense. Ooh. Man, the Bills offense is good. Obviously, you got the obvious guys, Diggs, Josh Allen's unreal. I think is Cole Beasley available? That might be a stupid question, but
no, I think he is. I think he's going to be good to go in this one.
He's like with COVID and yeah. But he's a solid player.
Yeah.
And no matter whether he I won't say too much tonight, but he's a very good player. He's a great wide receiver too, and he can really open up the play. He actually helps Diggs in a way because he helps take away some of the coverage away from Diggs, brings it towards him, and he's a very solid player. He can really open things up for the Bills offense.
Definitely. As far as the Bills defense goes, I could say the whole defense is underrated because not a lot of people talk about this Bills defense. But as far as individuals, I'll point out middle linebacker Trey Edmonds. He's ever since they drafted him, he has just held down that defense. He's elevated them to an elite run defense on top of being an elite pass defense. And he's done nothing but, push them above and beyond. And he really doesn't get talked about that much. And as far as the Chiefs defense goes, I mean, there's a lot of guys, but I think the guy that's going to stand out in this game for them the most is going to be Frank Clark. And Frank Clark, a lot. I live in Kansas City, so I hear a lot about
Oh, yeah.
the Chiefs and stuff, and yeah, and so it's crazy because Chiefs fans, if you ask Chiefs fan, they hate Frank Clark. They can't stand Frank Clark. He needs to be gone or whatever. A lot like Washington fans do with quarterbacks. So
Hmm.
so they'll tell you because he
I
only
wouldn't
shows up.
expect that myself because I agree with you. He's a solid player.
He's a solid player, but he does this weird thing where he'll show up in the biggest games, but then the rest of the season he'll be super quiet, and he'll end up with like 10 sacks, but he'll kind of like Ryan Kerrigan, he'll get like 3 in one game, and then like he'll go 3 or 4 games without a sack, and then he'll have another 3 sack game.
So
It's
it's
just
slightly misleading.
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, but I mean that's exactly the type of player he is though. He shows up in the big moments.
Yeah, that's the kind of player you need in these big games,
Yeah.
especially in the playoffs. It's one
Yeah.
and done.
Yeah, this is the playoffs. All right, so let me get a prediction. What's your prediction? Bills Chiefs.
This is a hard one. I've got the Chiefs taking it. Um, and I actually think it's going to be a bit of a low scoring game. I feel like on paper, everyone feels like, oh, two great offenses going against each other. It should be really high scoring, but I think they're actually going to cancel each other out in a way. And I've got a lower scoring affair. I've got the Chiefs taking this. I'm going to go 28 to 20. It's not super low scoring, but I think it's much lower than most people expect.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. You get 2 top-tier passing offenses with vertical weapons, out the wazoo, and then you expect a high-scoring game. And
Yeah.
I would agree with you if this game was in Buffalo.
Okay.
I think these teams are pretty even. They both have sneaky good defenses. They both have really good offenses with, rocket arm quarterbacks. And
Definitely.
I just think that they're kind of evenly matched. And so with the game being at Arrowhead, which a lot of people have, said is one of the toughest places to play, especially in the playoffs. It's going to be tough, and it's going to be loud for Josh Allen, and they were just there a few weeks ago, and they lost. So I think Kansas City takes this one in a close one, and I think it's
Yeah.
34-31 Kansas
Okay.
City. I do think it's a high scoring affair.
Yeah. Okay. I completely understand that. Like you said, both amazing offenses, both QBs are unreal, having incredibly strong arms, but I just don't see it going that way.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I know. I see your side too.
Yeah.
All right, so with that out of the way, we got this weekend's games done, right?
Yep.
Now tell me, who do you see playing in the Super Bowl in a few weeks?
Okay. I've actually got one of them, bit of obvious. Second one might slightly surprise you. I've got the Green Bay Packers on the NFC side, and on the AFC side, I've got the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're both the 1 seeds. The Packers, Aaron Rodgers, that one's a bit more obvious. Amazing quarterback, amazing offense. They're just a great side. Titans, I feel like the Titans are slightly underlooked. They have lost to some poor teams this year. I will give people that. But they are still playing at a very high level, and they're just getting their best player back right in time for prime playoff time. And the AFC is just weird this year. So I feel like wherever I go, I wouldn't be totally sure. But Titans are who I'm picking.
All right. Titans over the Packers in the Super Bowl. What about a score? Give me a score.
Oh no, I'm picking the Packers, but
Oh,
I'm saying the Titans are who I'm just picking out of the AFC. Sorry.
I got you. I got you. So what's your score in that game then?
I'm picking the Packers to win, and I'm saying 31 to. Ooh, this is a hard one. Man, I feel like it's not going to be that close scoring, but
It could be if it's
yeah,
Tennessee.
yeah. Yeah, I will say I will say 31-27.
Okay.
So relatively close, but
Yeah.
it's a hard one. We're still a bit away from the Super Bowl. That might not even be the Super Bowl. Not
Right.
even
Yeah.
close.
Yeah. They could get knocked out this weekend, or some other crazy nonsense could happen.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's your Super Bowl pick. I'm kind of gonna go off the wall here a little bit. Uh, I'm gonna pick, and this is gonna sound crazy, but
Okay.
I'm picking the Niners from the NFC.
Okay.
They're gonna beat out the Packers this weekend, even though I said the Packers would beat them this weekend. But I'm picking the Niners to surprise a lot of people. Just nobody seems to be able to know how to stop Deebo Samuel, and nobody seems to be able to stop Kyle Shanahan in that Niners run offense. Like they can just throw
Yeah.
any guy off the street in the backfield and he'll run for 150 yards.
The only thing that
So,
worries me about that is Jimmy G. They got to the Super
yeah,
Bowl a few years ago. They should have won that Super Bowl. Realistically, they were up 10 points in the fourth, and all he had to do was make a couple good throws, and he couldn't do it.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing that scares me too, is Jimmy G. You know, that's actually he's the reason I picked the Packers over the Niners earlier, is because
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be close towards the end, and then Jimmy G is going to throw a touchdown or an interception, and then Rodgers is going to take advantage of it. And for the AFC, this one's off the wall too. I'm picking the Bengals.
Okay.
I'm on this Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase hype train.
Yeah.
Ride it all the way to the Super Bowl. They're the hottest team in football. The hottest team is typically the team that does the best, and I think nobody's going to be able to stop them. They kind of remind me of the Chiefs of a couple years ago.
This actually makes our picks very interesting because both of our AFC picks for the Super Bowl play each other this weekend.
Oh yeah, you're right. They do. Yeah. Yep.
One of us is going to be wrong real quickly.
Yeah, we could both be wrong.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah. So that's how that's gonna go. And I'm actually gonna pick the Bengals to win.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm picking them to win the Super Bowl. Once again, just riding the hype train. And I'm gonna say it's kind of a blowout. I'm gonna guess the score is gonna be 28-10, Cincinnati.
All right, cool.
I think that Cincinnati defense is the one that figures out, how you beat Deebo Samuel and how you beat Jimmy G. And I think they're going to take.
I'd love to see Cincinnati win the Super Bowl there. They haven't won they have now, but they haven't won a playoff game in 30-odd years. I'd love an underdog team like the Bengals to go on and win the whole thing. That'd be great, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. If that happens, that would prove that, a young team that gets hot at the right time can, take it all the way and it not just be a one and done type deal.
Yeah, it'd be great.
All right. That's really all I had for this show. We're really just previewing this weekend's game, and I threw in there the Super Bowl picks. Harry, I appreciate you coming on the show. It was nice to have you. Tell the people where they can find you at, Harry.
You can see me on TikTok. My name's Hazza NFL. Go and check me out if you want to. And remember to subscribe to this podcast as well.
I appreciate that. And you can find this podcast on YouTube at Burgundy Boss Podcast, and you can find us on Twitter at Burgundy Boss. That's BURGANDY. Until next time, thanks guys.